Singer 360 Overview Part 3. We're going to do punch lace. This is page 32 of the manual. Starts really easy. We're going to put in punch card 17A. Punch lace is when we have a fine transparent nylon thread and it is used with main yarn. We set the controls like we always do. Putting the main carriage into drive, normal knitting. Starting at the left hand side, going to the right. The major difference with this one will be a sleeve that is put over the nylon serger thread, which keeps a little bit of tension on that thread when it's in the tension mast. Load the punch card on row 1. Knit a couple transfer rows. Put the carriage in drive, knit to the right. Now we're going to set for punch lace. There's the upside down V with a little emblem inside it. I use contrast nylon thread so you can actually see it in amongst the blue. The major difference is the Russell lever needs to be in 1, going to the left. You have to make sure that you have the lead needle in D position and the end needle in D position when going from from right to left. I'm going to show you again. They're in D position. I knit back and forth. It's a little bit tedious. Punch lace is very handy when doing children's clothing, where you want a lace effect, but you don't actually want lace. The other name for this is mock lace. If you put the tension mast in 7, you will have a lot less issues with your nylon thread. Okay, we're going to reset the carriage, lock in our cards so that we can get back to the other side. And we're going to do something completely different. I'm just securing the nylon thread here. Just weaving in the ends. And that's what it looks like. We're going to go weaving now. I'm changing to a red yarn, so you can see a lot better contrast with the thicker yarn choice. We're going to go with card 9A. Make sure you put your Russell lever back to 2 from 1, going from right to left. Weaving is a very tedious way of knitting. It involves untangling yarns and resetting them on either side of the sinker plate. Lock the card on 1. Place the carriage in drive. Knit across. Now we introduce the thick yarn. Weaving knobs are down, which means the brushes are engaged. I'm using a very fluffy black yarn. I just tie it to the bracket that holds down my machine. I've already knit across once. This is how we reset it. You can see how I struggle a little bit to get the yarn out from underneath the machine. The lead needle has to be out in D position as you knit across so that it catches your weaving yarn. And then you have to untangle that weaving yarn, bring it around to the other side of the sinker plate, and put it inside that what looks like a dress pin sticking into your sinker plate. You struggle, you curse, you breathe, you rinse and repeat. I reset my carriage, ready for the next wonderful sample. You can see it's beautiful. We're going to do plating now. Plating is the introduction of a thin yarn and your thick yarn. And I'll let you in on a little tip from one of my mentors here. We're going to use punch card 11A. We're going to lock in on row 1. Plating should actually be under the same heading as tuck. It is technically a 2-color tuck, but the setup is just a little bit different. Make sure you unlock your card when you were on the right hand side. Putting my carriage in drive, knitting across. Now this is where the confusion comes from the manual. It does not show you exactly where to thread this yarn. So let me show you. There is a tiny little area where you have to fish that yarn. I have circled it in the upper corner. There you go. That is where that yarn needs to go. Double eye transfer tools are awesome for this job. There is not a camera angle in the world that actually catches where that goes. I have tried. Now here's my little tip. Put your plaiting yarn under your needle. Under your handle. Fish it into the double-eyed needle and fish it into the plaiting section of your sinker plate. It is easier if you have it on the end of the bed to fish that double-eyed needle all the way through. If you're in the right spot, your thread will not come out. Now your lead yarn goes into that same spot and gets locked in the door. You set for a tuck. And now you knit across. Having that plaiting yarn in the handle keeps them separated from twisting, and you will find that your plaiting yarn ends up on the purl side, knit perfectly, and somehow your main yarn ends up on the knit side. This is really handy for thicker projects that you wish to create, such as mittens. Now reset your bed and I'll show you what it looks like. There you go. There's weaving, there's plaiting. As you can see, the yarn that was on the machine side, not the purl side, is on the outside. There's all of our projects for the week. Purl sides, the right side, that's another purl side. I tried to do as many angles as I could in different lighting so you can see what happens to the yarns as we knit. The Singer 360 is a wonderful machine. But there's even more.